Grand Rising. My name is YèVivo Bayi Vélékété, formerly Francesca Abbey. Akwaaba, welcome to my darts channel for my Diasporan African Repatriation Tourism Service, where we'll discuss everything about repatriation from the diaspora to Ghana and learn together what you'll need to know to make the journey, survive the cultural barriers, and enjoy the experience. Along the way, I will share with you my own personal experience as I grow into my new life in Ghana. This is our first show of this nature on this channel, but there will be many more to come. I'd like to begin this show by welcoming all of you into my new channel. The topic for this show is From Teleportation to Repatriation, my own repatriation story. Before I go into that story, I would like to start the show by reciting a poem that I wrote just for the business. It's called Just Call Us Darts. The sugar has hit the fan and it's blown up in your face. But you still can't see it's time to vacate that awful place? What you waiting for, Henny Penny? For the sky to fall? Or a penny shot of Henny at the next player's ball? You're the frog in the pot on a low, slow boil. You think it's bath water, but it's really boiling oil. You're being cooked for their consumption. There's no doubt. But did you forget that you're a frog and that you could leap out? Diasporan Africans, open your three eyes. Brothers and sisters, awaken and arise. Wise up, level up, raise up, adjust your crown. Take those rosy shades, take off those rosy shades and see what's really going down. Black kings and queens, you're stronger than this. You're smarter, faster, braver, elevate above this ish. Know when to leave the table when respect's not being served. Come home to your motherland and get the respect that you deserve. Need help learning how and where that journey starts? Diasporan African Repatriation Tourism Service, for short, just call us DARTS. No, really, call us. Thank you. So today, we're opening this topic of this first show, and it's titled From Teleportation to Repatriation, my own repatriation story. I remember back in the early 1970s. I was married, pregnant with our first child, sitting on the edge of our bed in our one-room kitchenette, playing my first drum, a beat-up old conga drum with a crack down the side, to the first album that my husband brought home, titled The Path by Ralph McDonald. I remember the two colorful plastic palm trees that we bought as our first decoration for the kitchenette that we lived in. One had orange palm leaves and the other had yellow palm leaves. We also had orange and yellow colored lights, all which created an exotic and pleasant ambiance in a not so pleasant atmosphere. As I sat drumming to the African percussion rhythms I was listening to, enjoying the beautiful ambient lighting and scenic decor, I was dreaming of actually being in Africa. Suddenly, I could hear distant drumming that was not coming from me or what I was listening to. and it grew nearer and louder. Suddenly, I could smell incense that wasn't coming from our home. Suddenly, I could see the red clay earth, the green vegetation, and eventually the black people, the yellow sun beating down on our faces. In a way, I was unknowingly and unintentionally teleporting my spirit from Harlem, New York, in the US to Africa every time I did it. And I did this for decades. Forwarding to current day, prior to my physical repatriation, I still continue to teleport my spirit to Africa, but more intentionally, until I finally made the move. And I'm about to tell you about that right now, starting with the decision. I made the decision in September of 2019 to repatriate home to the motherland because I was fed up with feeling unwelcome and threatened in the US where I never felt I belonged. I occasionally had thoughts about repatriating to Ghana one day, yet I looked at the fact that my one days were becoming very short. So I decided to get off the fence and either make the move or forget about it altogether. One other reason for my repatriating was because I saw the deterioration of the moral value system in the US, and that was a big deciding factor. I needed to be somewhere where the moral value system was still intact. The courage. The courage came to me back in 2014, actually, before I even made the decision. Uh, and it came from me finally deciding to get out of my comfort zone by taking short trips. Because I've never really been on vacation before, other than, being in the military and traveling to Ghana in, what was that, 1988. I came here as a priest in training and to meet Nana Oparabia and to buy some things that I needed to complete my training for the priesthood. But other than that, I had never really planned a trip on my own. I'd never been anywhere before. So the courage came to me back in 2014. And as I said, from me wanting to get out of my comfort zone by taking short trips, cruises, vacations, which included the planning, the saving of the money, the booking the flights and lodging, all by myself. Once I realized that I was capable of doing that, I realized that I was capable of planning bigger and traveling further. The inspiration, the inspiration came to me from watching various YouTube videos from people who had either already repatriated or who were actively planning to repatriate immediately, and also from indigenous Africans on the continent. YouTubers such as Dr. Mumbi Saraki, Wode Maya, Lisa Marie Goodson, Lance Scurv, and Black Acres of the Gambia, to name a few. These YouTubers produced some of the videos that resonated with my soul and moved me from thinking to planning to doing. The preparation. The preparation went fast, actually, but it involved a lot of sacrificing, saving of money, selling, donating, packing, getting my visa, getting my naturopathic vaccine alternative, getting my plane ticket, my booking my hotel, my ground transportation, and running around trying to get this crazy COVID test 72-hour test here, booking my and paying in advance for my COVID test that I would have had to get once I got off the plane in Ghana. Oh, what a journey. The sacrificing and saving money and selling my furnishings was probably equally as difficult as everything else because I actually cut down on a lot of spending, even to the point where I cut down my meals to once a day, one meal a day, which consisted of salad mostly, and some of it which I would put in a smoothie, and mix with fruit juice and other ingredients, and drink some of that and eat the rest of the vegetables later. It's one meal, but I kind of split it into something to get me going in the morning and just early afternoon meal, which kind of it was all in one. Something to drink, something to eat. So the sacrificing was real. No going anywhere. Well, actually, it was during the COVID time anyway. So where was I going? Couldn't go anywhere anyway. So no going out. Well, the movies were closed. Not that I was going to the movies anyway. 8 years I lived in Worcester, Massachusetts. I had not been to the movies not once. So there was really nowhere to go in that town anyway. Um, Saving money, I mentioned, cutting my spending down to, and only buying what I absolutely needed at that point. And selling my furnishings, that was so hard because prior to me making the decision to repatriate, I had just finished decorating my apartment to the nine, baby. Let me tell you, it was gorgeous. But I had every beautiful thing that made my apartment look like a luxury spa resort. And that's basically what I was shooting for. And I arrived there only to turn around and make the decision to move to Ghana. And like, I have to sell and give away all of this beautiful stuff. Some of it was brand new. I'd only had it for maybe a month or two. Oh man, that hurt me. But in the long run, if your house is on fire and all you can do is grab your purse and your kitty cat and your children and get out of there, then that's what you do. And believe me, to me, in my own mind, not my apartment was not on fire, but the house, referring to the US, had become a dumpster fire. And I didn't want any parts of it anymore. So getting my visa was okay. The packing was okay. I packed 7 bags that I brought with me and 4 more huge black duffel bags on wheels that I left with a family member to be shipped later to me. The naturopathic vaccine alternative, I did research on that because, I didn't want to get the COVID vaccine. I certainly didn't want to get no what is it, yellow fever vaccine and all these other vaccines you need. What is it, malaria vaccine. I didn't want any of that. I took the malaria vaccine pills in 1988 when I came here before, but I didn't know any better. Now I know better, so I have to do better. So this time I found a naturopathic vaccine alternative, um, which it was pills again, but it was all natural. And so I followed the instructions, took the pill, and I actually got a yellow card that passed through customs, I guess, or whoever you have to show it to when you're getting on the plane. It made it through. I was praying. Oh, baby, I was praying. I was like, please let me get on this plane. Please let me get on this plane. Just let me get the hell up out of here. You feel me? Oh, man. The travel, arrival, and survival. From the time I booked my flight to the time I realized that I'm here in Ghana to stay was a journey. It was a journey, a challenging journey. I'll start with the flight cancellation 2, 3 days before my flight. Hey, what was it? Air Canada canceled my flight without my knowledge, didn't even send me an email. If it wasn't for me checking and checking, because I check everything again and again, I'm checking. And I'm like, wait a minute, they canceled my flight and rebooked the flight, but they rebooked it incorrectly because they had me flying out on the same day, flying out from the US on the same day I was supposed to be flying out from Canada, because Canada was one of my 2 layovers. So I checked it, and God bless travel agents in the family. I have a travel agent in my family, my niece. She was able to catch that, and she called the airlines and the booking third party booking people and made that correct. She fussed and jumped up and down and damn near jumped through the phone and choked the life out of everybody. And she got it done. Thank you, Christian. Oh, I said her name. Oh, well, thank you, baby. Then, okay, so I got past that hurdle. Then the time for me to fly out, I'm all nervous. I'm all excited and everything. And I got the 72-hour um, COVID test. Yeah, the test. And got to the airport, met my ground transportation, got to Boston Logan Airport and checking in my luggage and everything. And they want to check my COVID test. Huh. The clinic gave me the wrong document of the COVID test. Nowhere on that document did it say that the test was positive, negative, or whatever. I was fit to be tied. I was mad. I was angry. And they said, you're not getting on this plane today. You have to go all the way back to Worcester where you got the test done, a 2-hour ride, and get the correct copy. I said, my flight is in 3 hours. It'll take me 2 hours to get there and 2 hours to get back. I have no more money, for transportation, ground transportation. They said, sorry, you're not getting on this plane. Next. I was like, the hell I ain't. Oh, hell. I performed in that airport. Oh, I went into my thing, baby. And I was not leaving the desk until I found satisfaction. You understand? So another lady came out and she saw I was like clutching my heart and everything. So she was like, okay, we found another way to do this. We can have the clinic fax over the document. And they faxed it over, and I was able to catch my flight and get on the plane. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you, Nyame, Almighty Most High, Great Spirit, Creator. Got on that plane. Every plane I got on, because I got on the plane at Boston Logan Airport and had to lay over a long, 12-hour layover in Montreal, Canada. And that flight, I mean, somebody sitting behind me, kicking me in my back the whole flight. Bam, 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 bam. Then 12-hour layover, couldn't get nothing to eat. I had to depend on the food in the on the plane because I couldn't afford to really eat. So it was okay. I only eat once a day anyway. Then got to Brussels, and I tried to buy a sandwich in Brussels because they really didn't give me enough food on the plane. I had a 12-hour layover before I got on the actual flight to Ghana. And man, $20, 20 US dollars for a sandwich, a very small and unusual looking sandwich. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'll just starve, you know? So finally on the plane, heading to Ghana, got something to eat on the plane, and man, the nerves, the what just dissipated, all the nervousness. I was relaxed. I was like, oh God, thank you. I was so relieved because of all that I had been through, all the roadblocks that were put up in front of me. Hey, but the ancestors, they said, no, we blessing this trip. You getting on this plane, you're getting to Ghana, you're going to step your bare feet in Ghanaian soil. Yes, you are. You believe it and receive it. And it happened. So I get to the airport, and there are people there to greet me, and get in the taxi and going to the hotel. Nice hotel. What was it? Triple Hill Hotel. If you're coming to Ghana, I would advise you to stay there. That was a very nice, small, intimate hotel, but very nice amenities. Pool. They partied every night. The DJ, the restaurant was banging. They had some good food there. You will like it. You will like it. Um, I booked 4 days in the hotel because that's what I was instructed to do by my sources that were advising me. I ended up having 5 more days layover in the hotel, not because of the hotel, not because of the people that advised me, but because of the apartment that I had already um, agreed upon. The people that were in Ghana that were working to help me find an apartment had found a nice apartment for me, showed me videos, walkthrough videos of the apartment. The apartment was just built, and it wasn't furnished, but that's okay because I'll sleep on the floor or my duffel bag. You know, I'm military, so I'll sleep anywhere. You know, I just want to get in the apartment. I had the money to pay for the year rent in advance, and so they picked me up the next morning after a wonderful night's sleep, and took me. We ate breakfast, and then we went to go and look at the apartment and pay the landlord and sign the lease and get the keys. You know, we get in there, the landlord comes in and he looks me up and down and he says, they are Nigerians. I'm like, who, where, what, who's a Nigerian, where? You know, nobody had ever called me a Nigerian before. And once I started speaking, I said to him, good morning, sir, how are you? Then he said, oh, Bruni, oh, no, we don't allow Obruni. We don't want your kind here. Get off of my property now. Hey, I was so hurt, but I had to leave the property. I faced 10 more rejections like that. Some of them, they didn't come out and insult me to my face, but when they saw me and they heard me speak and they knew that I wasn't a Ghanaian, they went up on the rent. They said instead of 1 year in advance, we want 2 years in advance. And some of them went up on the cost of the rent as well. And all night, every night for the next 5 nights, we checked different places, different apartments, and I got rejection after rejection until finally there was a place in Red Top. The landlords appeared to be very nice initially, and I'm saying that for a reason because I'm coming to the next phase of the apartment hunting called landlord abuse. I mean, I'm from New York, from Harlem, and I lived in the Bronx. I mean, I've suffered landlord abuse before, but not to this level. These landlords were very nice when they allowed me to move in. You know, I paid them the money and I moved in that night. It was like 10 o'clock at night and everything, and got the keys and everything. And actually, I had a sofa, a couch, the very one that I'm sitting on right now. I did buy that in advance and I had it delivered to the previous apartment. and we had to pick it up and carry it out of there to this new apartment. That's fine, not a problem. But after a while, the landlords started doing things to me. They would shut off my electricity. They would shut off my water because we had running water in the apartment. They would shut off the water, and I'd have to go out and figure out how to turn the water back on, and eventually learn how to turn my electricity back on. And then right behind me, they would come and shut it off again, just to be nasty. And I didn't understand why. There was a reason, but that's for another show. I will explain that to you. And if I don't remember, you remind me in the chats, okay? Well, actually, I'm getting ready to tell you about it now. The Creator, the Almighty Most High Great Spirit Creator, I call him Nyame Twere Duampon Kwame, Abawade, and Atoapoma, continuous originator of earth, of life, sees, knows, cares, and sends angels when most needed. I struggled and suffered abuse from my previous landlords almost every day and my previous apartment and I cried myself to sleep every single night right on this very couch that I'm sitting on now. You could probably still see some tear stains in it. There was no hope in sight for relief. I thought this was where I landed and this is what it was going to be from there on in. I prayed every morning for salvation. Oftentimes, when the Almighty Most High Creator and our ancestors see our struggle, our suffering, and our efforts, sometimes when we're just about at our breaking point, that's when they send an angel to assist us just a little for a short time along the way. Kwesi, Samuel Kwesi Efun, has proven by his actions to be one of the few Ghanaians that seem to genuinely care about my well-being. For me, he was that angel. It began when he was working in my apartment at Red Top, the one with the evil overlords. I meant to say landlords. Excuse me. Sorry, not sorry. He was working as an electrician in that apartment, making electrical repairs and installations because that's what he did for a living. He noticed the abuse from my landlords and he asked me, and we talked about it. We talked about it for a couple of days, couple of times, and he eventually asked me if I wanted to move from there. He said he could find me a better place where the landlord was much kinder. And once I said yes, he did the rest. He found a place for me in only 6 hours that very next day. Then that same day, then the very next day, he brought me to see the place, to meet the landlord and make the payment and get the keys. Then the very next day, he brought a moving truck and moved me to my cottage where I'm at now in Kokrobite, not far from where he and his family live. Since the move, and for the past 11 months, Kwesi has come by regularly to fetch water from the well, make electrical repairs and installations, take me shopping in a taxi for food, bottled water, and household supplies, take me to top off my phone credit and data, occasionally help me with cooking and cleaning. Sometimes he'd just come by and play cards with me, take me to the beach and to my appointments, and sometimes he'd come by just to chill with me and talk. In some of our conversations, he was very encouraging. When I felt like giving up and going back to the US or just giving up, period, he encouraged me to stay. When I had my panic attacks, meltdowns, he comforted me, dried my tears, and reassured me that things would get better. We began discussing what each of us wanted for our futures. We talked about getting a plumber to get running water in the cottage so we wouldn't have to fetch water anymore. We made it happen. We talked about getting a vehicle since the taxi fares skyrocketed at the turn of the new year in January. We made that happen too. We also talked about upgrading and improving the quality of our individual lifestyles for our households and supplementing our individual incomes by starting and diversifying businesses, buying land, building our homes, and business ventures, business venues, excuse me. I say diversifying because Samuel Kwesi Efum already had a business, still has a business. His electrical electrical engineering and electronics business. He does outside electrical engineering, and he does electrical installations and repairs for housing interiors. So he was basically diversifying and saying, well, okay, we're going to start these other businesses. Let's think of what we can do. So he told me about his friends, a married couple that started a tourism company together that's doing very well after only 2 years and a small investment of capital. Then, once again, from our conversations, I was moved from the thinking to the planning to the doing. Thus comes DARTS, Diasporan African Repatriation Tourism Service. Together, Samuel Kwesi Efum and I, we're making that happen. In our next show, our topic will be the introduction to DART. In closing, thank you so much for watching my DARTS channel. If what was discussed here resonates with you in a positive way, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share it, and hit the notification bell so you'll always know when a new show is posted. Thank you. Bye-bye.